They vanished without a trace. No final battle, no mass graves, no cataclysmic explosion, just silence. A silence that swallowed one of humanity's greatest civilizations. For centuries, the Indus Valley civilization thrived along the fertile banks of the Indus River, building cities so advanced that modern engineers still marvel at their perfection. Then, sometime around 1900 BCE, it was gone. The question that haunts archaeologists and historians alike is simple, yet maddeningly elusive. What happened to the Indus people? To understand this mystery, we must step back nearly 5,000 years to a time when the world was waking up to civilization. While Egypt raised its pyramids and Mesopotamia carved its cuneiform tablets, another society quietly flourished on the plains of what is now Pakistan and northwest India. Their cities Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro, Dhalavira were laid out with mathematical precision. Streets ran in perfect grids, lined with uniform brick houses, and underground drainage systems carried wastewater away from homes. Every house had access to clean water and sanitation, a level of urban planning not seen again until modern times. And yet, unlike Egypt's pharaohs or Mesopotamia's kings, the Indus people left behind no grand monuments, no temples, no armies carved in stone. Their civilization seems almost humble in its brilliance, peaceful, egalitarian, and astonishingly well organized. They traded with distant lands like Mesopotamia, crafting delicate jewelry, standardized weights, and mysterious seals engraved with animals and undeciphered symbols. Those seals, small squares of steatite, hold the key to one of history's most enduring puzzles, the Indus script. Thousands of examples have been found, but no one can read them. They whisper secrets we still cannot understand. For centuries, the ruins of the Indus civilization lay hidden under layers of earth and time, until British railway engineers stumbled upon the ancient bricks of Harappa in the 1850s. At first, they thought they had found an old fort. They used the ancient bricks to build railway tracks. Only decades later did archaeologists realize what they had uncovered: one of the world's earliest urban civilizations, older than Greece, older than Rome, and rivaling Egypt in scale. But by then, the people who built it had been gone for over 3,000 years. The disappearance of the Indus Valley civilization is one of history's greatest enigmas. There's no record of invasion, no sudden destruction, no clear evidence of famine or plague. So what happened? Some say the rivers betrayed them. The mighty Saraswati River, once flowing parallel to the Indus, may have gradually dried up due to tectonic shifts or changing monsoon patterns. Without water, agriculture would have collapsed, forcing the population to migrate. Satellite imagery supports this theory, showing the ghostly outlines of ancient riverbeds stretching across the Thar Desert. It's a haunting image, the idea of cities abandoned, their wells dry, as once fertile plains turned to dust. Others believe the monsoon itself changed. The Indus people relied heavily on seasonal rains to sustain their crops. Climate data from ancient sediments suggest that around 2000 BCE, the monsoon weakened dramatically for several centuries. Fields that once bloomed with barley and wheat may have withered, leading to food shortages, social unrest, and mass migration. A slow decline, not a sudden catastrophe. Civilization fading, like a candle burning down to its last flicker. But there's another theory one that hints at outside forces. Around the same time, Indo-Aryan tribes from Central Asia were moving southward into the Indian subcontinent. Ancient Sanskrit texts like the Rig Veda describe a people who settled near the Indus, fighting battles and praising gods of war and fire. Could these newcomers have clashed with the declining Indus civilization? Some scholars once believed so, calling it the Aryan invasion theory. But modern evidence tells a subtler story. There's little sign of large-scale warfare or violent conquest in the archaeological record. Instead, what likely happened was more complex, a merging of cultures, a slow blending of languages, beliefs, and people. The Indus way of life didn't end overnight. It transformed, evolved, and lived on in new forms across the subcontinent. Still, the mystery deepens when we examine their language. The Indus script, those tiny, elegant markings found on seals and pottery, remains undeciphered. Every attempt to unlock it has ended in frustration. Were they writing an early form of Dravidian? Proto-Sanskrit? Something else entirely? Without a Rosetta Stone, we can't know. And so, the thoughts, prayers, laws, and stories of the Indus people remain forever sealed in silence. Yet clues continue to emerge from the dust. In Mohenjo-Daro, archaeologists discovered a great public bath, perhaps used for ritual purification. In Harappa, standardized bricks suggest centralized control. But where were the kings, the palaces, the armies? Unlike other ancient civilizations, the Indus cities show no sign of a ruling elite. No massive temples dominate the skyline. No royal tombs filled with treasure. It's as if power itself was decentralized, shared among the people, not concentrated in one ruler's hands. A civilization built not on conquest, but on cooperation. And perhaps that's what made them so vulnerable. When environmental pressures rose, when trade routes shifted or rains failed, a society without rigid hierarchy might have lacked the mechanisms to respond swiftly. Their very strength, their harmony and balance could have been their downfall. In time, the great cities emptied. The noise of bustling markets, the hum of craftsmen, the laughter of children, all faded away. The people dispersed eastward, toward the fertile plains of the Ganges, where new cultures would rise. But the soul of the Indus lived on in their pottery styles, their agricultural practices, their reverence for water and cleanliness, and perhaps even in the ancient stories that still ripple through Indian mythology. Some believe traces of the Indus worldview survive in Hinduism itself. The ritual bathing, the sacred importance of rivers, the reverence for the bull, all echo symbols found in Indus artifacts. Could the civilization that vanished actually have become the foundation of Indian culture as we know it today? It's tempting to think of civilizations as immortal monuments in stone that stand forever. But the Indus Valley reminds us that even the most advanced societies can fade quietly without fire or fury. The mystery lies not only in how they disappeared, but in how their legacy endures, woven invisibly into the fabric of time. Imagine standing among the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro as the sun sets. The bricks still hold the warmth of the day, and a soft wind whispers through the deserted streets. Somewhere beneath your feet lies a story 5,000 years old, a story written in a language we cannot read, by people we cannot name, in a world we can barely imagine. Maybe one day we'll find the key. Maybe a single artifact buried deep in the earth will finally unlock their secrets. Until then, the Indus Valley civilization remains one of history's most haunting riddles, a reminder that even the brightest lights of human achievement can vanish into the dark, leaving only questions in their wake. And perhaps that's the greatest mystery of all, not that they disappeared, but that we, in all our modern brilliance, are still trying to hear their voice across 5,000 years of silence.